I like when you're quiet.
Alright. And one time, a huge train crash happened. I'm not telling you the story.
Oh, okay.
I'm telling my viewers. A huge train crash happened in Pennsylvania. One time, I ate WR 1206, and they were both 1206 with some tanker cars loaded with hazardous materials. The train was going well, but then the tanker cars were shaking. The engineer and the conductor were wondering what was the problem. So they decided to make an emergency stop soon. But then the tankers kept shaking more and more. They were wondering why they kept shaking. Then they noticed that the wheels were bad. So they decided to make an emergency stop. And then one time, there was one parked locomotive. Engineer and the conductor got on the train and then move out the yard. And then they started moving on the grass. And then they were having a lot of fun. Till then, they got back on the same track. The train was traveling very fast. The train started going 60 miles per hour and then started to go faster and faster. But then the crew passed a yellow signal because they had literally ignored it. And then they passed the red signal and they also ignored it. The crew didn't notice anything at all. But then, when they see another train on the train tracks, the train pulled the emergency brakes. And the two crew braced for impact, and then but then there was an Amtrak train with two passenger cars and one engine. It was in the yard, and then it left the yard. With two passenger cars. And the crew did not notice that there was a train crash in front of them. Then the crew decided to pass the red signal and a yellow one. Just kidding, they only passed two red signals. But then, the train decided to go faster and faster. Nothing had stopped the train. And then the two crews see the train, the train crashed right in front of them. And they didn't pull the emergency brakes on at all, but they decided to brace for impact. And then the town heard a huge crash. But then in the yard, there was a freight train. It was in the yard, and then it started to move like. And this has been crazy that there was another train coming. With one engine and two cars. It only had a gondola car and a passenger car. This train passed a red signal as well. And then the train started traveling at 54 miles per hour. The train was traveling so fast. The crew did not notice that they passed a red signal. But then, all of a sudden, they see a huge train crash up ahead. So the train did not pull the emergency brakes at all. So the engineer and the conductor braced for impact. And then tanker cars were derailed and on their side. All tanker cars were derailed. The two 1206 engines stayed on the rails, and they were unharmed. The Amtrak train was damaged a lot. The crew from the Amtrak train survived with serious injuries, same as those two freight trains. Passenger survived with serious injuries. The passenger car on the freight train survived with no injuries. At the end, all locomotives were repaired and returned to service. In the end, the freight train was repaired and returned to service. The Lake Valley was repaired and returned to service, but repainted. Two 1206 engines were unharmed. The Amtrak engine was repaired and returned to service, but in 2017 it will be repainted. So, and that's the end of the huge train crash.